Hi everyone, my name is Madeline Haas, and we are so glad you've joined this Facebook Live to learn more about the United Way of the Midlands Emerging Leaders and the initiative that we support, Raise Me to Read. The Emerging Leaders are a group of young professionals under the age of 40 who donate our time, talents, and resources to support the work of the United Way of the Midlands, a local nonprofit that strives to help our neighbors who need it most and funds more than 110 nonprofit programs. Our group has members from companies across the Omaha and Council Bluffs Metro. Throughout the year, we hold several different types of events: connect, lead, serve, and fundraise events. During the connect events, we network with other young professionals in the community and educate them about our initiative. During lead events, we hear from a leader or expert on the important community topic. During serve events, we volunteer in the community, and finally, during fundraising events, we raise money for the initiative we support, which is currently Raise Me to Read. Raise Me to Read is a really awesome literacy initiative helping kiddos succeed right here in our community. So I'm really excited for us to learn a little bit more about it during our lead event today, featuring Dr. Martha Bruckner and Sam Emerine. If you'd like to know more about the emerging leaders and how to get involved, please stay tuned for more information at the end of this presentation. If you can't stay until the end, you can fill out the survey in the comments, which also enters you to win a gift card, and we'll email you with more information. And with that, please help me welcome Dr. Martha Bruckner. Dr. Bruckner is the Executive Director of the Metropolitan Omaha Educational Consortium, MOEC. Collective Impact Initiative, a role designed to guide improvement of education for students from preschool to age 16 in the Omaha metro area. Dr. Bruckner previously was superintendent of the Council Bluffs School District from 2015 to 2016. All right, Dr. Bruckner, take it away, please.
Thank you very much, Madeline. I am very honored to be here to talk to you about the beginnings of Raise Me to Read and their connection to the campaign for grade level reading. And it's really a pretty interesting story. So on the next slide, you see how it all came to be. First of all, as Madeline said, I was superintendent in Council Bluffs, and someone from the Council Bluffs Chamber of Commerce brought me a little brochure that said, hey, there's this new thing. It's called the Campaign for Grade Level Reading, and they want to know if our city wants to be part of it. And I looked at the focus areas, and the focus areas were early literacy, which is birth to age 8, school attendance, and summer learning, because kids from poverty don't always have as many opportunities in the summer. And those were areas that we were naturally working on. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And I said to the person from the chamber, well, this looks really good. And she said to me, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And I said, this is exactly what we should be working on. So at that point, we started working with a group of about 25 people, and we came up with the Council Bluffs application to be involved in the national campaign. We had to fill out a CSAP, which is a Community Solution Action Plan, and submit that plan. And in the first years, from about 2012 to 2017, Council Bluffs really made a splash at the national level. They received a pace setter honors every year. We tried 3 different times to become an All-America city because of our work in literacy. And on the 3rd time in 2017, Council Bluffs became an All-America city because we were focusing a lot of things on early literacy. And for me, the fact that Council Bluffs is an All-America city because of a literacy effort is really a wonderful, wonderful kudos for our community. Next slide, please. When I had the opportunity after I retired from Council Bluffs Schools to move to the Metro Omaha to work in MOAC, it became logical to me that Omaha should also be involved in this national campaign. At the time, no community in Nebraska was involved in the national campaign, and it just seemed like something that we should do. So we talked with some people throughout the community and decided that yes, Metro Omaha would submit its own CSAP in order to have its own community involvement. But we did not want to be in competition with Council Bluffs because obviously I have ties on both sides of the river, but we're really one community. So We decided to share that logo, Raise Me to Read, which Council Bluffs had been using from, well, they originally started as CB Reads, but they had copyrighted Raise Me to Read as their moniker for what their work was. We share a focus on early reading, school attendance, and summer learning. We share an advisory board of about 40 people from both communities, and we report to them twice a year to tell them about the work we're doing. And we also agreed, because our advisory board suggested it, that we would, on both sides of the river, share the same goals. And the goals were to increase the number of children ready for kindergarten so that they have done the learning they need to before they come to school, to increase the number of children who demonstrate that they're increasing their skills from one grade level to the next, to increase the number of kids in school who are present 95% of the school day. Of course, COVID has wreaked a little havoc with that. To increase the number of children who are reading proficiently by the end of third grade, because that's absolutely important for them to keep on track. And there's a lot of correlation between reading by the end of third grade and graduating on time. And finally, to increase the number of children 5 and under who are living in our communities, who are living above the poverty area. So on both sides of the river, we share those two goals. Next slide. We have some things that we do separately. We do separately and together. We share communications. The United Way of the Midlands has been very, very helpful to us in getting us started on that. We also have some separate communications. So we're moving now to have a combined website, but to have different Facebook pages, Instagram pages, Twitter pages, etc. We have separate backbone agencies. Family Inc. is the backbone agency for Southwest Iowa Raise Me to Read, and MOEC, the Metropolitan Omaha Education Consortium, is the backbone agency for the campaign on this side of the river. We have separate budgets and separate financial support that we are responsible for, and we have separate strategies and actions that we take throughout the year. So it's really kind of the best of both worlds. We share some very important things, but we also have separate aspects of our work. But this, I love this word cloud. From our first advisory committee meeting, we asked them to come up with words that should represent us. And you know, word clouds, it has to do with which one is the largest, is the one that was mentioned the most. And the largest, which obviously is mentioned the most for us, the only way we're really going to be successful in our community in helping more children learn to read by the end of third grade is to collaborate. We don't need Raise Me to Read on either side of the river to do lots of new things. What we need us to do is to bring the people together that are already working on it, find some places that have some holes, fill those holes, and kind of be cheerleaders for each other. So collaboration is the key. And I'm going to let my colleague take it from here. Thanks, Madeline.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us today, Martha, and a huge thank you to MOEC and UNO for serving as sponsors of the Emerging Leaders Charity Golf Tournament for Raise Me to Read. Now I'd like to introduce Sam Emerine. Sam is a serial bad book enthusiast, former library professional, and the current director of literacy initiatives for Family Inc. and Raise Me to Read. She will be sharing more about Family Inc.'s role in Raise Me to Read and how they're helping kiddos succeed right here in our own community. Take it away, Sam.
Hi, everyone. Happy hour. I just want to start off by giving you a few statistics. These are from a couple of years ago, but they haven't changed much. And with COVID, we could actually see some of these slide backwards. But 67% of children nationwide and more than 80% of those in low-income families are not proficient readers by the end of third grade. So Dr. Bruckner talked a little bit about the importance of that third grade benchmark. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get those kids on reading grade level by third grade. And then Potawatomi County specifically, there's 29.8% of children in Potawatomi County who are not proficient readers by the end of third grade. So if they're not proficient by the end of third grade, we like to say that up till third grade, you're learning to read, and after third grade, you're reading to learn. So if you don't have those reading skills, you're going to fall farther and farther behind as you go on. So what does Raise Me to Read look like in action? So here's some things that have happened in the last year on kind of both sides of the river in action. So taking that vision, those pieces that Martha talked about, and then putting them into our communities. So on the Southwest Iowa side, we were awarded our 7th Pace Setter Award this last year. And so that was for a project that we're working on, which is going to be raising readers kind of flashcards. So that is a set of cards that parents are going to get. We haven't quite figured out distribution yet, but they're going to get those. And then they've got a fun nursery rhyme and picture on the front that they can read with their kid. And on the back, it's got milestones. So 0 to 3, here's the milestones you should be hitting. You know, age 2, here's the milestone you should be hitting, all the way up to age 5. We're also working on launching the Baby Reads program. For those of you in Omaha, if you're an avid library user, you may be familiar with Baby Reads, but that is a program in which people who get their baby under 1 year of age, a library card, get a free board book for baby, and they also get a one-time waiver of all fines and fees on the parent's account, parent or caregiver. And so what that does is that removes an access barrier to an amazing resource, which is the library, for a lot of low-income parents. We put together about 1,200, we called them COVID relief activity kits. So that was a partnership with the Council Bluffs Community School District and their weekend meal kits, in which we packed up a book, a toothbrush, information about Medicare and Medicaid for families in Iowa, for those who may have lost healthcare due to COVID. And we gave those out as part of the meal kits that the school district and some local churches in town were doing back in the early months of COVID. We also do a sponsorship for teachers in the Council Bluffs Community School District. Always book giveaways. We're always trying to get books into the hands of, you know, more and more kids. Since this summer, we gave about 1,200 books out in between farmers market events and backpack giveaways and things of that nature. And then tomorrow, if you guys want to hear me talk more or learn more about Southwest Iowa Raise Me to Read, we're doing an Instagram takeover of the Iowa West Foundation's Instagram. So you can learn a little bit more about what we're doing over there. As for Metro Omaha, they're doing a lot of great stuff also. So part of the national campaign for grade level reading, they have a grade level reading week. Metro Omaha did a showing of the Resilience documentary, in which there were 221 registrations from 67 organizations, 7 states, and 5 countries, all tuned in to watch this documentary and discuss it afterwards. Resilience, if you haven't seen it, is a fantastic documentary that deals a lot with ACEs and student learning. They're also working tirelessly on their social media development, as excuse me, Dr. Bruckner talked earlier. We are working on developing our own separate social medias, so that is something that we've been working on a lot. They're also working on data collection and collaboration with Buffett, Early Childhood Institute, Wellbeing Partners, Omaha Public Libraries, and the School-Based Attendance Coalition. So if you have more questions, I know there's going to be a Q&A after this, but here's our contact information. You can email me or Kate Knutson, who is my counterpart on the Metro Omaha side. So she is their director. So you can reach us there. You can also check out raisemetoread.org. It is under construction right now. That's one of the great things that United Way is doing for us right now, is they're working on our website. So the contact page isn't quite up and running there yet, but it will be. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. For right now, those are the 2 social media sites we've got up and running, and see what we're doing.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I like the idea of a Monday happy hour, especially in the era of COVID. My name is Chris Miller, and I am one of the directors of community impact at the United Way. going to be sharing a little bit about our role with Raise Me to Read. And I would echo Madeline's statement before. Thank you guys so much for your support and the golf event that we had this fall. Really, really appreciate your efforts and support of Raise Me to Read. As you know, or maybe you don't, the United Way is really focuses in on 3 areas to support with our investments: financial stability, education, and basic needs. Obviously, Raise Me to Read fits into the education thing, where we invest in wraparound supports to ensure children come to school prepared to learn. As Dr. Bruckner said, we promote literacy programs, we increase the quality of early care and educational environments. We help to coordinate activities that reduce summer learning loss. You heard Sam talk a little bit about data collection, so we help out with that. And really, we help to build sustainable and supportive relationships for educational programs in the community. Our role, United Way's role, is to help in convening the meetings that Raise Me to Read has, to help develop a network of support agencies. Obviously, you guys are active in this. One of your pillars that you work with is to help fundraise and find funding for programs and to develop strategies to help increase dollars and grow Raise Me to Read's influence in the community and its support. And ultimately, what we try to do is we leverage our network and our brand to support Raise Me to Read, many other programs around education in both advocacy and fundraising and investments. So we're very, very proud and happy with the partnership that we have with Raise Me to Read, the partnership that we have with you as the Emerging Leaders Group, and are just happy that all the great work that's being done to help support kids that need this particular program and helping kids with their literacy. So I'm going to pass it off to Brayton. She's going to tell you a little bit about the exciting stuff that we have going on with our campaigns and our social media.
Hey everybody, my name is Brayton Hickey and I work on the marketing team at United Way of the Midlands and I manage our communications. So I just wanted to share a little bit more with you all about what United Way of the Midlands is doing in this area. And so we have been really honored to partner with all of the Raise Me to Read partners on an awareness campaign, which I know Sam and Martha kind of mentioned. This fall, that awareness campaign launched. And so a primary piece of that is the development and construction of the www.raisemetoread.org website. This is really exciting. When it's all complete, the website is just going to have a plethora of resources and materials for parents and caregivers to really educate them about how important reading is in their children's development, but also to give them the tools and tips they need to start that with their kiddos from a really, really young age. So there is a portion of the website that is live now. And then as another part of the awareness campaign, we have been trying to share some of these tips and resources across the community in other ways. For example, we do have some radio spots running right now. And so those include just short little tips to help parents and caregivers learn about the importance of the 3 different pillars of Raise Me to Read. We are on some bus wraps, which is really fun. So you may see on 3 different buses that are driving throughout Omaha and Council Bluffs. You may see our logo and the website there. We've also been working with the partners on social media campaigns. There's just a lot of different aspects, also television spots. So we are really excited about getting these resources out into the community and just really sharing the word about the importance of reading. And so that is where the awareness campaign is now. But if you want to learn more or check it out for yourself, definitely would invite you to go to www.raisemetoread.org.
Awesome. A huge thank you to all of our speakers today. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Raise Me to Read from all of our speakers. So now we'll go ahead and take some questions from the audience for Martha, Sam, Brayton, or Chris if you have them. Simply type them into the comment section of the Facebook Live, and Kylie will relay your question to our speakers.
Hey, Kylie, have we had any questions come in? Kylie.
I actually have a question for Martha and Sam, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how you guys got involved with, literacy and the initiatives that you are helping with here in Omaha and Council Bluffs.
I can start because I've been involved for quite some time. I've been an educator all my life, and obviously early literacy, what kids do by third grade, impacts everything the rest of their lives. As Sam said very clearly, we say that kids learn to read by grade 3, and then after grade 3, they read to learn. And so it's essential. My first experience was all in high school. So I was much more into teaching English and grammar and literature than early literacy, but I know how important it is. And as a superintendent, it became extremely important to know that we have to help children be ready to learn. And that entails absolutely being involved in good literacy skills. Many of those literacy skills, by the way, are taught before they ever step foot into school. It involves a parent reading to a child, a parent helping children understand how books work, that they open from this direction, that you turn pages this way, that they have colors, that they have pictures. The parents are the first teachers of children. And the more parents help with that, the stronger kids are when they first come to school. Sam, what would you add?
I think you hit the nail on the head. And actually that bit at the end about reading coming before you go to school is actually where I come from, because my background is a library background. And so I was doing a lot of the direct service work of this by doing story times. And during those, you learn the tips and the tricks of, you turn the book this way, or, the book goes this way, front to back. And, oh, what do you think this is? What do you think is going to happen next? Kind of those kind of leading tips that you learn as you do story times. And so just moving from that, and I'm a Council Bluffs native. So when the opportunity came to help the city, the community that I'm from, and, in a field that is really close to me and I had a lot of knowledge in, and I thought is really useful and needed, I jumped on it. So.
Awesome. I actually was wondering, Martha and Sam, if either one of you could kind of expand on, so I know Martha touched on the fact that the Campaign for Grade Level Reading is a national movement, and Raise Me to Read is kind of the local aspect of that. So what has it meant to be part of more of a nationwide movement? What are the advantages of that, I guess?
The advantages are that we get to work with people across the country who are experts in this field, and many people from different communities who have tried different things. In this era of COVID, all that work is virtual, but I'm sure Sam would agree, we get invited to webinars 4 to 5 times a week, in which we are able to collaborate with another community to learn about things that they're doing and to share some things we're doing. It's a national conversation, and I think that opens the sphere of influence that we can have, and it also gives us some really good strategies and tips on how to do better.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. I see that we had one more question come in from Bridget. Bridget said, "This is great. How do you approach parents who work several jobs and feel like they just don't have the time or energy to read with their kids?"
Anything that parents do with their kids can help. If your kids go with you to the grocery store, you can tell them as they walk into the grocery store, okay, I want you to show me 3 things that you find that are red, or 3 things that you find that are round. you can look at things when you're driving in the car. Who's the first one to see something? Because the more kids interact with their parents and along the way are learning vocabulary words, that's absolutely essential. If you don't have too much time to read, it's still the best thing, but just reading for 4 minutes is better than not reading at all. So you don't have to read. I remember when my boys were young, I just always hoped they would pick the easy, quick books at the end of the day because I was as tired as they were. And I didn't want to read a 24-page book to them. So I know parents are really busy, but anything you can do to help children learn words and see the value of literacy is helpful.
Great. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. So anything else you want to add, Martha and Sam?
I just want to say thank you to everyone in the Emerging Leaders and everyone at United Way who are picking this up and supporting it. It's such an, I love it so much, it's amazing to see that other people are also picking up on the work and they're seeing what's being done and they're wanting to support it. So I just want to say thank you.
I'd agree, Sam. That's a great comment. United Way at the national level is one of the largest sponsors of the Campaign for Grade Level Reading. And they are a sponsor in almost every state that's had a big presence. So I'm glad that we could introduce Nebraska to that. We're very glad to have United Way as one of our partners. And our hearts kind of melted when we learned that the Emerging Leaders wanted to make this as one of your priorities. So we appreciate you as much as you appreciate us, maybe even more.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Madeline, you want to take us away?
Yes. So to echo what Bridget said, this has been absolutely great. Thanks again to everyone. If after today's presentation, you're interested in getting involved with the Emerging Leaders and supporting Raise Me to Read, we have several upcoming events we'd love you to be a part of. As a part of our commitment to volunteer, we regularly read to students at Howard Kennedy Elementary in Omaha. Again, COVID-19 has impacted this volunteer opportunity, but in the meantime, we have recorded read aloud videos and are posting them on YouTube for kids to watch. We'd love for you to get involved in this effort by recording your own read aloud video. And then on March 2nd, we will be online fundraising to create literacy kits for kiddos in need. We would love to have your support both in raising the funds for the kits as well as putting them together in April. So how can you join the Emerging Leaders and take part in these upcoming opportunities? The easiest way is to fill out the survey below in the Facebook comments. When you fill it out, you'll be entered to win a gift card to a local business, and you'll be entered in our email contact list. You'll receive an email detailing more information about the Emerging Leaders and the requirements to get involved. We do ask that everyone in the Emerging Leaders group make a $250 donation, which you can designate to Raise Me to Read if you'd like. Your donation can also be split up bi-weekly through the year if you want. This means that you're just making a $10 donation each paycheck. More information about how to make this donation will be included in the email. So don't pass up on the opportunity to win a free gift card. Please fill out the survey and we'll reach out with more information. And before we end our time together, does anyone have any questions about the Emerging Leaders or how to get involved? Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions, but thank you everyone for joining and have an amazing night.